Ever been treated like the broke one in your own family while you're secretly the only one keeping everybody afloat? Yeah, that was me. The underachievers paying the successful sister's mortgage. Let me tell you how that blew up at Sunday dinner. And hey, real quick, if this kind of real-life story already has you hooked, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. That way you don't miss the next one we drop. Sunday dinner at my parents' place always started the same way. Too much food, too many opinions, not enough filters. This time, it kicked off with my older sister, of course. Okay, you guys have to see this, Brooke said, waving her phone like it was a trophy. We were all crammed around the dining table, Mom's pot roast in the middle, mashed potatoes, rolls, salad nobody touched. Same setup as always. Brooke tapped her screen and spun the phone so everyone could see. There's the new island, quartz, waterfall edge, and look at the pendant lights. Aren't they so cute? The video showed her in a glossy white kitchen, big island, wine fridge, plants that definitely did not water themselves. Mom leaned in. Oh, honey, it looks like something from one of those HGTV shows. Monday morning, back in my own apartment, things made sense again. Laptop open, coffee in my chipped mug, spreadsheets instead of opinions. I pulled up my property dashboard, 13 units across the city, duplex on Maple, triplex near the university, 2 small fourplexes on the edge of downtown. My own building over the coffee shop, occupancy 97%, cash flow solid, repairs annoying but manageable. My property manager Tasha had already emailed her update. Got 3 apps for the Maple Street unit, all qualified. We can bump the rent a bit if you want. Not the version my family thought they knew. This one, where I made decisions that moved real money. My phone buzzed. Brooke again. Brooke, thanks again for dinner last night. Mom loved it. Also, I'm thinking about redoing the master bath. If you saw my Pinterest board, you'd die. I stared at the message for a solid minute. Bathroom reno. Again. On a house she couldn't afford without me. I set the phone down and just sat there. Something in me was done. I could feel it, like a door quietly closing. I picked the phone back up and opened my banking app. There it was. Automatic transfer. $2,900. Recurring. Brooke mortgage loan. I'd always told myself it was temporary. I'd always said, next promotion, she'll take over. Next raise, she'll catch up. But every time she got a tiny bit of breathing room, she added another project, another upgrade, another investment in the home. I sighed. All right, dude, I muttered to myself, enough is enough. I called my accountant first. Hey, Mark, quick question, I said. If I stop the monthly loan to my sister next month, anything weird I need to know for taxes? Nope, he said. You've documented it as a loan, not income. You're good, just stop sending the money. Cool, that's the plan. Next, I called the bank and canceled the automatic transfer. The lady on the phone asked, are you sure you want to stop this recurring payment? Yeah, I said, I'm sure. My hands were shaking a little when I hung up. Last call was the one I was dreading. Brooke picked up on the second ring. Hey, what's up? Everything okay? We need to talk about your mortgage, I said. Instant silence. What, about it? She asked, her voice tight. Did something bounce? Is there a problem with the transfer? Nothing bounced, I said, but next month is the last one. I'm not paying it after that. She was quiet for a full 5 seconds. Wait, what? What do you mean last one? Her voice went up half an octave. Lena, you know I can't cover that payment on my salary. You know that. We talked about this. We did, I said, 2 years ago. I agreed to help for a bit, not forever. But I'm finally getting ahead, she said fast. Once I finish the bathroom and get a promotion, I'll be good. This is just like terrible timing. Brooke, I said, it's been 24 months. That's not a rough patch. That's your entire lifestyle. She went quiet, then defensive. I can't lose this house, Lena. Do you get that? If I have to sell, what does that look like? To my friends? To mom and dad? I'll look like a complete failure. That sucks, I said softly. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I'm not going to keep funding your life while you stand in mom's kitchen and tell me I'm throwing money away. I don't lecture you, she snapped. I'm just trying to help you make better decisions. You literally gave a TED talk about owning versus renting while I was paying for the roof over your head, I said. That's wild, Brooke. She didn't respond right away. When she finally spoke, her voice was small. Please don't do this, she whispered. I seriously don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm not saying this to be mean, I said. But it's not my job to make your numbers work. I love you. I helped you for 2 years. Now I'm done. She started crying. Talking about new budgets, side hustles, maybe taking a roommate. Promising new timelines, new repayment plans. I listened. I let her talk. But my answer didn't change. No more mortgage payments from me, I said. You got a month to figure it out. And for the first time since that midnight phone call, I hung up feeling more relieved than guilty. 3 days later, my phone buzzed again. Brooke, family meeting at mom and dad's. Tonight. It's serious. I almost laughed. Of course. When I walked into the living room, everyone was already there. Mom on the couch, Dad in his recliner, Uncle Dave by the window, Brooke on the edge of the armchair, eyes puffy like she'd been crying. "What's going on?" I asked. Brooke swallowed hard. "I need to tell you all something," she said, "and it's not great." Mom leaned forward. "Baby, you're scaring me." Brooke took a breath. "I can't afford my mortgage," she blurted. "I haven't really been able to for a while. I've been getting help." Dad frowned. "Help from who? Some bank? You took out another loan?" Brooke glanced at me like she wanted me to rescue her. Then she looked back at them. "From Lena," she said. "She's been paying my mortgage for the past 2 years. The air just stopped." Uncle Dave actually said it out loud. "Wait, what?" They all turned to look at me. Dad blinked. "You?" he asked. "Lena, how would you even... I mean, that's almost $3,000 a month." 2,900, I said. "Every month, for 24 months. Mom shook her head like she was trying to clear water from her ears. "Sweetheart," she said slowly, "you don't make that kind of money. Not with that little consulting job." "Yeah," I said. "About that consulting job." I reached into my bag and pulled out a folder I'd started carrying around for lender meetings and, apparently, family emergencies. Inside was a one-page summary my manager Tasha had made. Addresses, purchase years, loan balances, current estimated value, monthly rent totals. I set it on the coffee table. "This is what I actually do," I said. "My company manages residential rentals. I own most of them." Dad picked up the page. His hands were shaking. "This says 13 units, he said. "Total value, almost 3.8 million. Numbers are probably a little higher now," I said. "Market's been up." Uncle Dave let out a low whistle. "No shot," he muttered. "You own more property than all of us combined." Mom looked between me and the paper, completely lost. "But you live in a one-bedroom," she said, "over a coffee shop." "Yeah," I said, "on purpose. It's cheap. I'd rather own buildings than fancy countertops." Brooke watched all of this with red eyes and clenched hands. "I never meant for it to go this long," she said suddenly. "I thought I'd get a better job. I thought I'd catch up. I kept thinking I'd pay her back and handle it myself." Mom turned to her. "You let your sister pay your mortgage for 2 years, she whispered, "while you sat at my table and told her she needed to grow up?" Brooke flinched. "That's exactly why I didn't say anything," she snapped. "You guys always act like I'm the responsible one, and she's the one who needs help. How was I supposed to admit the successful daughter was living on the unsuccessful daughter's money?" Dad leaned back, rubbing his face. "Lena," he said, voice rough, "I owe you an apology, a big one. We've been talking down to you for years." "Yeah," I said lightly, "kinda noticed." "Why didn't you tell us?" Mom asked. "All this time, why keep us in the dark?" "Because it didn't change anything," I said. I didn't need a round of applause to do my job. I just got tired of paying Brooke's bills while being treated like I didn't have a clue. Uncle Dave was still staring at the portfolio sheet. "You've been just quietly stacking real estate all this time," he said, "while we were giving you advice about building equities." "Pretty much," I said. Brooke wiped her face. "So what happens now?" she asked. "With the house, with everything." "That's on you," I said. "You've got 30 days before my last payment hits. After that, you either cover it, refinance, pick up more income, or sell." "I can't afford it," she said, eyes filling again. "You know I can't, not with my salary." "Then you sell, B," I said gently. "Downsize, move into something that actually fits your numbers. Or get a roommate. Or 3. But I'm out." The room went quiet again. Mom finally spoke. "Lena, I am so sorry," she said, "for all the times we assumed you weren't doing well. For the jokes, for the lectures. We were wrong." I shrugged. "It's fine," I said. "Well, it's not fine, but it's done. We all know the truth now. That's something." The next few weeks were rough on Brooke. She called me with updates. "I listed the house," she said one night. "I feel like I'm giving up a limb." "You're not," I said. "You're just swapping an oversized limb for one that actually fits your body." "Wow," she said. "That's gross and helpful at the same time." She canceled the bathroom renovation, stopped sending me links to expensive tile, started asking me things like, "How much emergency savings do you think I need?" and "What's a reasonable housing budget?" She found a small condo across town. No 2-story foyer, no giant island, no statement staircase. But the payment, she could cover it on her own. No secret loans, no midnight panic. The sale of the townhouse paid off her credit cards, left a small buffer in her account. For the first time in a long time, she wasn't pretending. When I helped her move into the new place, she stood in the middle of the living room, hands on her hips. "It's weird," she said. "Smaller, less wow. But I'm not terrified of the mortgage. That's kinda nice." "Yeah," I said. "Peace of mind is pretty underrated." She looked at me. "I still feel like garbage about the way I treated you," she said. "All those dinners, all those comments, while I was living on your money. I learned from it," I said. "I learned that helping someone through a real crisis is one thing. Subsidizing their whole lifestyle is something else." She nodded slowly. And I learned, she said, that owning a house doesn't make you the smart one if you can't actually afford it. Sunday dinners changed too. The next time we all sat around the table, Brooke wasn't pulling out her phone to show off upgrades. She was talking about learning to budget, about saying no to stuff she couldn't really afford, about looking for a role with better pay. Dad asked me what I thought about interest rates. Mom wanted to know how I found good tenants. Uncle Dave asked if it was too late for him to buy a duplex. Brooke looked at me over dessert and shook her head. I still can't believe you just quietly built this whole empire while we were all clowning you, she said. It's not an empire, I said. It's just a bunch of normal buildings that pay me every month. That's literally what an empire is, she shot back. Just steady stuff stacked over time. We both laughed. Months later, she texted me a screenshot from her banking app. First mortgage payment on the condo. Paid entirely from my account. No help. Feels insane. Also, thank you for bailing me out before. And thank you for finally cutting me off. I stared at the message for a second and smiled, because that was the thing I'd finally learned. Family support is good, but it can't be endless. It can't be secret. And it can't come with the cost of your self-respect. Brooke was finally living within her means. I was finally done hiding what I'd built. And Sunday dinner? Still messy, still loud. But now, the stories at that table felt a lot more honest. No more lectures from someone drowning in debt. No more assumptions about who was behind and who was ahead. Just a family trying finally to see each other clearly. That alone? Yeah, that felt worth celebrating. All right, I'm going to wrap it here. If this story touched you even a little, hit like, smash that subscribe button, and turn on all notifications so you never miss the next one. Drop a comment and tell me,